Good morning students. From today we shall discuss about unit 3. Unit 3 is measurement of power and energy. So what is power? Power is nothing but it is product of voltage and current in case of DC, whereas in case of AC it is product of voltage, current and power factor. So in that first one, DC power measurements. So in the DC power measurement, there are two types. Those are voltmeter ammeter method and the second one is ammeter voltmeter method. Coming to the first one, voltmeter ammeter method. In that voltmeter ammeter method, name itself indicating it consists of one voltmeter and one ammeter. In that which comes first is decided by the name. So voltmeter ammeter method means voltmeter has to come first and the ammeter has to come later. Here the supply voltage is given to the load through voltmeter and ammeter. So here the total power is nothing but the power consumed by the load plus power loss in the ammeter. Even though the power loss in the ammeter is less, we shall also consider that power also. So the total power supplied, the total power measured by the meters. So the total power measured by the meters means the product of the voltage and the current in the ammeter. So the product of measured by the meters is equal to power consumed by the load. Power consumed by the load plus the power loss in the ammeter. The power loss in the ammeter. So total power measured by the meters is equal to power consumed by the load plus power loss in the instrument. Here the instrument is ammeter. Okay, this is about voltmeter ammeter method. Coming to the second one, ammeter voltmeter method. As I told you from the name itself, which one has to come first is ammeter and then voltmeter has to come. So first ammeter, next voltmeter is connected across the load. So here the power indicated by the meters, is equal to power consumed by the load plus power loss in the voltmeter here. Power loss in the voltmeter. So here the power consumed by the meters, power measured by the meters is equal to power consumed by the load plus power loss in the voltmeter here in this ammeter voltmeter method. Next one, AC power measurement. So this AC power measurement is again classified into two types. Those are single phase AC power measurement and three phase AC power measurement. In the single phase AC power measurement is done by using electrodynamometer type wattmeter. Electrodynamometer type wattmeter. So wattmeter is the instrument which measures the power. In case of DC, the power is nothing but product of voltage and current. So you can use ammeter and voltmeter. Those are enough. But whereas in case of AC, you need to measure the voltage, current as well as the power factor. So this can be done by instrument wattmeter. In that wattmeter, electrodynamometer type wattmeter is the instrument which is used to measure power in single phase AC type. Okay, so in this electrodynamometer type wattmeter, this is the circuit diagram. Here coming to the construction, here you can observe F is the letter which is given for the fixed coils. So here you see two F's are placed in parallel. So F means fixed coils. There are two fixed coils placed in parallel with each other. So these two are placed in parallel. And these fixed coils are connected in series to the load. Next, coming to the M. What is M here? So M is nothing but moving coil. This moving coil is connected in parallel to the load. And this moving coil is placed on a spindle. On that spindle there is hair springs as well as a pointer which will move over the scale. Okay. So here the construction consists of two fixed coils two fixed coils which are placed in parallel and they are connected in series to the load. And there consists of one moving coil which is placed in parallel with the load, and it is placed on a spindle, and on that spindle a pointer is placed to indicate the reading over the scale. This scale is uniform. That means it is equally divided parts. It consists of equally divided parts. So this is about the construction. Next, coming to the working principle of operation. So whenever the supply is provided here, whenever the supply is given to the coils, then what happens? So that means the coils gets energized. Both the fixed coils and moving coils are energized. Because of fixed coils, one magnetic field will be produced, and because of the moving coil, there is another magnetic field is produced. So there are in total two magnetic fields are produced whenever supply is given to the wattmeter. So when two magnetic fields are produced, due to the interaction of these two magnetic fields, there is a torque produced. Because of the two magnetic fields, there is a torque produced, and because of the torque, the torque is nothing but the deflecting torque. Because of the torque, this pointer will starts moving. So this deflecting torque has to be controlled. So the controlling torque here, it is provided by using the hairsprings. That means spring control torque is produced. And next, damping is produced by using the air friction damping. So whenever you are mentioning about an instrument working principle, you need to mention all the three torques. One, deflecting torque, controlling torque, and damping torque. Here the deflecting torque is produced because of the interaction of two magnetic fields. There is a torque produced, there is a force. Because of that force, there is a torque produced. That torque is the deflecting torque. And the controlling torque is produced by the spring. This spring is nothing but spring control torque is used. And damping, this damping oscillation, you need to stop the oscillations. That damping is provided by using the air friction damping here. So okay, this is about the working principle. So I am going to explain it now again. So coming to the construction, there is fixed coil. Fixed coil is divided into two parts, and these two parts are placed in parallel with each other, and they are connected in series with the load. So here that means current is passing through the fixed coil. So it is called as current coil here. Whereas the moving coil is placed in parallel with the load. So it is called as pressure coil of the instrument. And controlling is done by using the spring control. Damping is provided by using the air friction damping. And scales and pointers are used to indicate the reading of the wattmeter. Next, coming to the working, it consists of whenever the wattmeter is energized, that means current carrying conductor is placed in the magnetic field. Because of this magnetic field, a mechanical force is observed. Because of this mechanical force, the torque is produced, that is the deflecting torque. Because of the torque, the pointer starts deflecting. So that means the current and voltage of the fixed and moving coil generates two magnetic fields, and due to the interaction of these two magnetic fields, the pointer will be starting deflecting. And this deflection of the pointer is directly proportional to the power flowing through it. This can be observed by using the relation. So the deflection torque in DC system, power is nothing but voltage into current. So the deflecting torque TD is proportional to voltage into current. That means power. In case of AC system, TD is proportional to VI cos phi, that is AC power. And the controlling torque here used is spring control torque. For spring control torque, the equation is TC is equal to K into theta. And at steady state, the controlling torque is equal to deflecting torque, that is K theta is equal to power. So that means theta is proportional to the power. So the deflection produced by the instrument is directly proportional to the power indicated by the instrument. Power flowing through the instrument. That means scale is uniform. Next, coming to the advantages. So this is used for both measurement of AC and DC power. You can measure both AC power and DC power also. And the scale here used is uniform scale. And the disadvantages here are, here you are using the springs. So aging of springs is considered. And inductance of pressure coil will cause much error. That means there will be some amount of error because of the inductance of the pressure coil, moving coil, and because of the temperature also there will be some amount of error will be there, and the cost is more. So these are the disadvantages. In spite of the disadvantages, you can measure AC and DC power, and the uniform scale is there. So you can this wattmeter is more efficient. Okay, this wattmeter is more efficient. Next one, errors in wattmeter. So in any meter there will be some amount of errors. So what are the errors present in this wattmeter? So here the errors are nothing but, first one is errors due to pressure coil inductance. So for the pressure coil and current coil there will be amount of inductance. Because of the pressure coil inductance there will be some error in the reading. And also due to the induction effect of current coil and pressure coil also there will be error produced. Due to the connections, that is MLCV connections will be there. Improper connection will also cause the error. And errors due to stray magnetic fields. Magnetic fields also it will cause the error. And errors caused by the vibration of moving system. So if the moving system is vibrating, that is machine is vibrating, then also the error will be produced. And next one, temperature errors. Due to the environment temperature, also the some amount of error will be produced. And so this wattmeter, there will be two types of wattmeter which you have already observed in the laboratories. One is low power LPF wattmeter, UPF wattmeter. So LPF means low power factor wattmeter, UPF means unity power factor wattmeter. So unity power factor wattmeter is the wattmeter we have studied now. Coming to the LPF, that is low power factor wattmeter. So if you measure the low power factor circuits with the normal wattmeter, what happens is there will be inaccurate. The wattmeter reading will be inaccurate. This is because deflection torque is small and errors introduced because of the inductance of pressure coil. So we should not use, whenever the LPF has to be used, low power factor circuits, there you have to use LPF only, because the reading will not be correct if you use the UPF wattmeter. So how can you convert an UPF wattmeter into LPF wattmeter? So this can be done by using we can reduce to convert an ordinary wattmeter into low power factor wattmeter, we need to reduce the resistance of the power coil and increase the inductance of the pressure coil. So pressure coil resistance has to be decreased and inductance has to be increased. Then only you can convert a normal wattmeter into LPF wattmeter. So this can be done to increase the inductance of the pressure coil. You are providing a compensating compensating coil which is in parallel to the current coil. So that means how many turns the current coil is having, that many number of turns the compensating coil also should consist. And this is in series with the pressure coil. So that means inductance of the pressure coil is increased and resistance of the pressure coil is decreased. That means here you will be providing a resistance. In parallel with the resistance, you are providing a capacitor so that the resistance will be decreased, so that the resistance of the complete pressure coil also decreased, so that it is converted into LPF wattmeter. So LPF wattmeter can be occurred by increasing the inductance of the pressure coil and reducing the resistance of the pressure coil. This can be done by using a compensating coil which is connected in series with the pressure coil. So this is about the wattmeter, single phase electrodynamometer type wattmeter. In the next class, we shall study about three phase electrodynamometer type wattmeter. Okay, thank you.